Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to
The Cypher.
The Cypher.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to The Cypher. Yo, we got OllyaWood and Palmathon here. You know, Joe might hop in, who knows when.
Surprise guest.
It's, but it's the two of us for now. And welcome to the 15th episode of The Cypher. We're 5 away from reaching that 20 mark, but, we got to keep grinding. How you feeling, Paul?
Yeah. I'm good, man. I'm good. It's, I don't know after how long we've been recording, but it's been a while since we recorded an episode together, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm feeling good today, though. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah. And we're feeling even better that now that we got Kwaku in the building today. He's the manager, he's the thinker, he's the creative personality. Welcome, Kwaku. Virtual round of applause, How you doing, Kwaku?
We'll add those in post. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing good, yo. Doing good. How are you two? Happy to be here. Am I your first guest ever since you've been recording in a minute?
Yeah. Yeah. I think since our Pascal episode.
Like six. So my hope is that I'm gonna give you guys some dope content to keep you guys going. You guys should definitely see this podcast. And it's like hopefully once you guys leave the academic space, you definitely take this content and keep pushing it. So I just want to give you guys your
Definitely.
Thank you for that.
And
thank you, bro.
Not to mention, this is the second time Kwaku is on our episode again.
True.
If you guys haven't listened to our other episode with Kwaku, that was I remember, I think it was first year maybe.
Yeah.
Or right.
Yeah.
And I remember meeting Kwaku for the first time there, and then I was just like, well, this guy's yeah. So I'm excited that you're here. So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I think that was from our. I'll give it a title. Give it our origin episodes. When we first started, we weren't on Spotify or anything. I think we were just on the SoundCloud and stuff. I think. Yeah. I think you can still find it on YouTube, on the YouTube page and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How you been, Kwaku? How you feeling today? How you feeling in the year 2021?
The year, man, is messed up, yo. It's not normal. But I've been, blessed to be able to maneuver and navigate. At the start of the pandemic, I was fortunate enough to keep working. So right now I'm working in youth engagement, supporting youth voices to influence policy and stuff. So I've been working that full time from home, which is great, and it's a blessing. But definitely it's been hard. The music industry has taken a hit, the media industry as a whole, right? It's a lot of people have become uninspired, and you've seen people who have had to quickly adapt to the digital and have seen some success, but it's really been tough for a lot of creatives and artists during this time. And so it was dope to see a lot of the people who rallied together to, come up with grants, to, come up with virtual exhibits, to come up with, virtual live shows. But we've started to see that die down a bit. And so, just, as we're talking, I'm just keeping in mind a lot of the, just keeping in mind in solidarity, thinking about all of the, the artists that aren't doing well. Who are, trying to make ends meet, stay inspired to keep producing. And so just really looking hopeful for, once this pandemic is over, we come out of this pandemic, I feel like we're going to see a big boom in a lot of the stuff we missed, shows, exhibits, screenings, festivals, a lot of dope media coming out of this. And so even with myself, I've pivoted the work I've done to better support, media professionals. And when I say media professionals, I'm talking about if you're a rapper, you're a media professional. If you're a singer, a media professional. If you're a visual artist, media professional. If you're a film director, you're a media professional. If you're a graphic designer, anything where it comes to producing any type of media or art, you're a media professional. And so I pivoted my work to supporting, uplifting those voices through research, your target audience, to, consulting creative strategy. And sort of, I'm grateful that I've been able to help a lot of artists come out of that slump throughout the pandemic. And so looking to see where, after the pandemic, we can continue the work to make all of this sustainable so we don't receive another blow like we did this past year.
Definitely.
And with that call of things really going and probably popping off after quarantine died down? Do you think that's more of like an appreciation of what we had, or is it more like a desire of like wanting out?
Yeah, no, I think it's a big part of like you said, we're definitely missing what's happened, like the way life was before. But then also, like, we've had so much built up energy, like, we've had so much time to ideate. We have so much time to create. We've had so much time to really, be virtual, that we're like, yo, we just need to be in person. And it could be even as small as some of your favorite records that came out this year. It's like, I want to hear this at a party. Have of like what the DJ needs to play. Like, no more throwbacks. We have so much stuff, right? And so
all the TikToks.
Like, well, I even made a joke. I said, "Yo, if I go to a club and I see somebody doing this, what what's like? It's all this TikTok." But yeah, I feel like we just miss it. I feel like, arts and culture has been something that's been a fabric of our society for so long. Like, it's like before technology, and it's sustained. Like, so it's like, it's not one of those ones where we're all gonna be like, we're comfortable, because the more we're in it, we're like, we hate taking online lectures. We hate, stuff that's just like, we just need to get back in person. And so hopefully, everybody, can take advantage of the vaccines, social distance until, and then do the right thing. And then we could get right, back to normal. Yeah. Or whatever normal is. Yeah.
Whatever normal looks like after this,
I mean, it's going to be definitely like different, but they started doing, I don't know if you guys heard, but like in Europe somewhere, they started doing tests for concerts, like as an experiment. So they have like, one group that's like a bit more bunched together, maybe another group with a different layout. And I can't remember where exactly it was. I think companies have already started, trying to prepare for events opening up with these experiments of like, how can we best, rearrange people? How many people can we put in a space, so definitely like, it's not even like, just creatives, it's just like companies, like, I don't know, concert companies trying to get ready for this boom, and definitely should be interesting.
Cause we've been in quarantine-ish for almost like a year basically now. Right? And it's been interesting to see how music itself has changed in terms of like when albums are released and who is kind of making these records at these times, Have you yourself, Kwaku, seen any like significant change or trends that you've seen come out of quarantine?
I've seen people really understand how much we can use virtual to make life easy. Like, just the different Zoom meetings, being able to like carry out some work from, a WebEx or a Zoom, connect with different people more globally. I think people have definitely become more financially literate. A lot of people apparently are saving money, reading up on crypto, reading up on investments and everything. I think the only good thing I could say is people have been able to slow down to take better care of themselves.
Yeah.
And so,
And like,
I mean,
go ahead.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say definitely with the crypto. Like, I think we were like talking about it like before we started recording. You were mentioning something about people using crypto to buy music formats and stuff like that. I don't know if you want to talk about it right now.
Yeah. So the big thing right now is NFTs. And I don't know, it's one of those new ones where it's like, it started in like 2017 apparently, and it's like, it stands for non-fungible token. And so in essence, we could say it like, okay, the Mona Lisa. You could look at the Mona Lisa, you could Google images of the Mona Lisa, you could go to the Louvre in France and see the Mona Lisa, but you don't own the Mona Lisa. If you own the Mona Lisa right now is worth about $860 million. And so the whole idea around NFT is, art collection, digital collection, and a non-fungible token means it's like one of a kind. Whereas like, if you think about, Bitcoin, it's like there's many Bitcoin. Whereas if you think of like an NFT, there's only one aspect. And so NFTs are purchased through the Ethereum crypto. And it's, they use Ethereum because it's more regulated in the sense that it blocks out spammers, because Ethereum has this thing where it's like you pay a gas price for every transaction. So if you have to pay for every time you make an action, you're not gonna spam the net with different aspects. And so a big aspect of NFTs is smart contracts. So smart contracts is, you know, Paul, if I make an agreement with you that you have ownership over these song rights, okay, you get a certain amount of royalties, I get a certain amount of cut of royalties. And so a smart contract basically manages that digitally, automated wise. And so if I create if I mint an NFT, which could be, let's say I make a digital art piece and I sell that and it's on a blockchain and it's up for sale, and you purchase the NFT for a certain amount of Ethereum, you own that. But the smart contract is I can have a 10% royalty on that, so that when you sell it for how much more, I automatically get a cut. And all of that is managed through your crypto wallet. And then so you're able to essentially, you know, make the sales, receive income, and it's just a different way. And it's like, why would you want to own an art piece? Because who knows, that art piece in the future might be worth a lot, you know, and you're able to sell that. And people buy, sell frequently on the marketplace for these kind of stuff. What's up, Joe? Yeah. And so it's like, we keep moving that way. So it's like an interesting aspect of like, where society is moving with this crypto and accepting funds as like accepting like blockchain purchases, crypto, and all that kind of stuff as like how we move forward with media. I know it's like, I'm not trying to take shots at RTA. It'd be dope if they had already struck up a course on that, but you know, I don't know if that's
they should.
They should.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've obviously been keeping up with it, but then I don't know, I think about a couple of weeks ago, Ethereum, Bitcoin did take like a hit, and it did drop. Lost a bit of money there, but you know, still it's pretty cool. Like I never knew like even artwork was trying to get integrated with the Ethereum. Because I know like Bitcoin, Ethereum, other cryptos have different purposes, you know. So I guess with you mentioning trying to become a bit more centralized or something like that, you know, it paints a better picture of what Ethereum is going to be used for, rather than just, you know, just like some sort of random currency, right? Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, you could even probably look at using crypto to purchase homes in the future. You could even look at, you know, using crypto to purchase, you know, to get into different events or to own, you know, different collectibles, to like investments. It's just one of those ways where it's like, I don't know too much about crypto, but from what I see from it, it's interesting how like, you know, we have this thing in like our society called inflation. So every year, money becomes worthless, right? And that's as a result of, you know, the banks and governments basically printing money. And like cryptocurrency, you don't see the same thing. So as a matter of fact, the more you're able to own right now, it'll just become more valuable down the line. And so we've seen that boom with crypto. We've with Bitcoin, we're seeing that boom with people like pushing up Dogecoin, and it's a lot of stuff going on. And so
I thought it was Dogcoin.
I call it Dogecoin. I think it's
Dogecoin. Okay.
I don't know.
But yeah,
I think cryptocurrency is like the new thing.
Yeah, I think it's been around for a long time though, right?
Yeah,
it's like I think like the younger generation, like us, we have the technological capacity to understand, to register for wallets, to look at, you know, graphs, or like to just, you know, take the risk of just putting money in and like seeing, like, for example, like I put a certain amount of money in Bitcoin weeks ago, and I've gotten an interest, like I've gotten like an extra $100 off of it. So I'm like, it feels illegal, but it's like it's legal. Like
it's real. Yeah, it's like that's actually real in our you know, like actual life, where you can. I mean, a part of it, like it does make sense because it is a type of currency and it is growing. It's like US and Canadian, you know, like our currency is a bit lower, but with Bitcoin, like there's still, like I still have a lot to learn about it. And I think no one really fully understands what it is right now.
Yeah.
And with time, you just keep understanding it.
Exactly.
And people have been buying real estate and property, you know, like for the past years with Bitcoin. Like I read about on that. So definitely. And then, and then you mentioned something about taking a percentage cut instead of, you know, like actual, like a certain amount. I think that's a better way, just because crypto right now, it fluctuates so much.
Yeah.
You like 10% is not the same as say like 100, whatever, you know, like 10% can vary depending on how much the value is going up and down. So
yeah, so it's like it like grows. It's like if I sell you something for $5, the $5 Canadian equivalent for Bitcoin, right? It could be $10 the next day, but you just gave up your Bitcoin. But it's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like kind of taking it back to kind of like what we mentioned also before we started recording, your kind of perspective on managing artists and like kind of not necessarily managing them specifically, but more so like guiding them. Was that the word that you used to describe your position?
Yeah, I think the new normal for like different artist managers to better support artists is create companies, have capital to invest in the artist development of artists if you want to, because it's always a risk associated with that, right? Because it's like your success is tied to how committed the artist is. Your success is tied to how talented the artist is. Your success is committed to how, hardworking the artist is, right? And it's like, with that being said, if you don't have like a company or some type of label to, put like financial backing to actually pay that role, then it's like, you won't really see much, you're not really contributing much. Whereas like, if you're an amazing manager and you're able to handle different books, your artist's working, then yes, but then you're only really making a percentage of, how much that artist is making, which, you can make your decisions around that. And so managing artists is a fulfilling task. But for me, I decided to take the approach of like guidance and mentorship, because I've just been in so much spaces where it's like different artists would be like, yo, let's connect, right? And let's work, let's link and build. And it could be overwhelming sometimes because the needs are so much that like, I remember when I first started out, it was like the first link and build conversation was like, okay, yo, be my manager kind of thing, right? And that was like, okay, if it's full time, it's like you're doing so much work and you're not seeing anything coming in return. And it's like, don't feel ashamed for saying you're not seeing anything come in return, because if you're young, you're working, you're probably doing school, you're probably doing that it becomes overwhelming. And so I, through that, like I decided to take the route of like guidance. Like, don't worry about giving me, any money. It's like taking a mentorship role. Like part of the work I do aside from music is mentorship. So I'm like, you want to get to where you want to get? Okay, here, some guidance in making the right decisions. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna be here like emailing all the blogs, trying to book you shows, trying to do that kind of stuff. I'll be like, okay, if you want to book shows, these are the type of people you should talk to. These are the type of people that will connect you to the right opportunities, this and that. And then, a lot of stuff I do comes with a budget. So it's like, then we can talk about that end. But, I've just taken the route of, the consulting, supporting, artists with like research and evaluation, which is like a big thing missing right now, especially in the world of digital. It's like understanding who your audience is, your target audience, and making sure you're feeding into their listening experience, and then taking that to really perfect your craft and better understand your brand and appeal to investors, appeal to labels, and have those like information. So that's like the hardcore thing I do. But saying like I'm an on-hand manager for anyone, it's like, no, it's yeah. And it's no shot at any, artists that I've worked with in the past. It's been a really great experience, and we're still close. And friendship is just where things are.
Yeah. I think a lot. That's really interesting because like I have a coworker. He does sort of mentor me in terms of like audio production. And I think, I don't know, like just seeing like just some similarities between you two. I think it's just because like you guys are a little bit older, you guys have a bit more experience, and I think guidance is like much better nowadays over managing, just because like there's nothing wrong with like managing an artist, but I think just with like all these resources we have now, like an artist doesn't really necessarily need a manager like they did say like before. These days the resources are a bit more open to us. If we want to make a music video or something, grab your phone or something and do something, right? So I think guidance is definitely like more of a trend that I'm seeing. And you said it's fulfilling. Like, what? Explain that to me. What kind of satisfaction do you get from helping someone younger or less experienced? I should say. Like, how does that feel to you?
It's one thing to feel inspired, but to do something to make someone else feel inspired is like a feeling, very few people will ever get to see. And it's like that in combination with like my passion for creative ideas, for creative strategy, to be like, okay, let's try this, let's design this concept. Let's be radical with the way we think about, the decisions we're going to make moving forward, has been like my passion for so long. And that's been manifest through, I've had the opportunity to host different events, different panels, different networking opportunities, different music production, different, screenplay ideas. And so it's like just crazy with it, the podcast, this and that. It's so much fun. And to be able to see, okay, let's, sit down with the artists and say, okay, what do you want to achieve by the end of this quarter? How many streams do you want to get? How many followers do you want? Which blogs do you want to be attracted to? Which shows do you want to perform at? And so these are the goals, and then sitting them basically being like, okay, how do we work backwards to, make this song better, make this song fit this audience, or, your social media could improve in the areas of posting more videos or making better announcements or engage personally with your fans. So just having those ideas and just shooting and just seeing the artists light up, be like, oh, I never really thought about it like that. Yeah. Or I never really, been this inspired. I just want to do it. And then seeing them, grow in terms of, and that's the pride and joy I get from, mentoring and guiding. Cause it's like, we'll have so much conversations. We'll be on the phone and I'll talk too much. I'll be like, this and that. And then have so much of that. And I'll just sit back and watch the artist like blossom and grow into like another level of like, success, or like in a different space where they weren't really thinking about music. Now all of a sudden they're really grinding. So it's like they may not even be successful, but like it was a point where music was like just a thing that they were just talented at and they were just testing. And then I'm able to step in and be like, yo, you should do this. You're actually really good at this. Keep going, like giving that like inspiration. And all of a sudden they're in this space where I'm trying to work with producers. I'm trying to, put social media out, photo shoots. I'm trying to get this music going, and they may not be there yet. But the fact that they've moved from just thinking about music as a thing they do to actively trying to become a music or an artist in their own realm, that's enough for me. I'm like, you don't need to be Drake level. You don't need to be Jesse Reyes. But the fact that mentally you're tapped into your craft, that's the fulfilling aspect. Because you don't want to be to your own horn or like say, oh, because of me, they're doing that. You just be like, I'm confident that a lot of the conversations we've had has put this individual in a better space.
Yeah. That's beautiful, honestly. Yeah, that's beautiful.
And like as that kind of role as not a manager, but a kind of a guidance, is there like a certain artist that you kind of gravitate towards, or is there like whoever comes to you for help that you kind of provide?
Like specific artists in the city?
Yeah, like I guess more so like a specific type of artist with genre or characteristics.
Like I'm a big R&B producers a lot of time. Rap, hip hop culture. The only hard thing about rap is, and this is part of like my own personal research, and like specifically in the city of Toronto, just trying to crack the code of why so much people that have been successful in rap and hip hop in Toronto have to be tied towards some sort of gang culture and violence, to where it's like, you may not want to live that life, but in order to get on like a 6 buzz or to get a whole bunch of fans, you have to make jokes about Debbie, you have to make jokes about Sagittarius Shorty, you have to throw shots at Chromas, you have to be on Zoom with academics, Top 5, and Pressa, saying stuff. So it's like, that's where we are uplifting those voices for rap in Toronto, unfortunately, whereas there's so many dope people who are like, I just want to rap about my family or my church, or I just want to rap about, my come up, my, my living, like, or like, my success, like so much themes and subjects, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, unfortunately, for most like it's not just a Toronto thing. It's like Atlanta, it's New York, where you have to rap about some gangster shit, you know, women, hoes, you have to do all that kind of stuff. And so part of like the research I'm trying, like I love rap, like I'm a big rap fan. So, you know, Lil Baby is like my guy right now, of course, Drake. Who else? You know, some Tory, some like a whole bunch of different, you know, people in rap, you know, and Meg. I'm saying Tory, but Meg, I'm a big fan of Meg too, equally. So all of that stuff that went on is hard for me. But I love rap so much, but in order to support artists in the city, it's hard, right? And so I'm trying to understand why that's, you know, a phenomenon and how we could come together to like remove people from like that negative persona that comes with rap in the city. But like admittedly speaking, I listen to that type of music, so I'm trying to unpack it myself. So
so do you feel as if artists who want to get into hip hop kind of have it difficult because they kind of have to be affiliated with that kind of gang, you know, that kind of ghetto lifestyle? Do you think they kind of have it harder than other artists, let's just say if they want to get into like R&B or like pop? Do you think they kind of have it harder?
Yeah, I know so much dope artists in the city who have like who are rappers, but didn't take like that gangster rap approach, and they're like signed to labels. And it's cool. Being signed to label doesn't really mean much anymore because at the end of the day, they're taking your money and putting you in debt, but putting, you know, money in front of you. But it's like, it's being hard for them to reach that next level where it's like rappers who aren't even like really signed, who are like just getting some clout, they're like doing so well. But it's hard because it's like you're attached to this much negativity. You have to move out the country. You can barely really do shows because no venue wants to book you because they don't want, you know, that negative. And it's like, you're making money off streaming, which is great, but the culture wise, right? It's like, how many times can we say we can go to a show in the city with a rapper that's popping, who's from Toronto, and it's not at like RBC, Echo Beach, or maybe even Rebel, like even hard to get to Rebel, or like an ACC, right? Because the big names, right? The big names, Drake. Who else is a rapper that's big from the city that we can pull up to a show? You know, pardon?
Tory Lanez?
Tory, but Tory like is one of like the big one, and Tory, even when he comes, like you have to go to the Coca-Cola Coliseum, right? And so it's like, when can we go to a rap show at like the Danforth Music Hall or, you know, the Phoenix Concert Theater with like a rapper from this city to really feel that energy? It's always somebody coming from the state performing at Danforth, right?
Yeah.
The rest of the people, Toronto rappers that we can really enjoy in the space in their own hometown, are so big, left, come back, and are performing big venues, right? And so, but Daniel Caesar's is able to sell out 5 nights at the Danforth, you know, because R&B is not really that direction, right? And so it's hard. I'm not saying Toronto has like zero tolerance for that type of like the community with like gang violence, where it's like we're more strict, you know, than the States, right? Because I personally don't have a problem with that. Like, I'm not like, oh, this gangster rap is bad. I listen to it, I enjoy it, but politically speaking, it makes it hard for like artists to do so because it's like the venues won't do it. If CP24 does one article about you can't come, you know, all the venues are like, you know, white owned. They don't want no problem with it. You go to New York, you go to Atlanta, you know, the strip clubs you can perform at, the venues you can do all of that, they're performing, they're doing well. Like, it's so much shows, right? And they have a ethnic community. But, you know, here, you're shooting yourself in the foot, unfortunately. And the only reason you'd ever really get up there is if you do that kind of stuff. And so a lot of artists are actually forced to, like, leave the city. And so it's tough. So cracking down how we can address that, you know? How can we support artists who are, like, how can we support artists who are rapping, you know, speaking about, you know, gang culture as a reality of their own, as, you know, artistic telling through of their own reality, their own communities, which is fair and it's okay, and really tell the people who aren't really about that life that it's okay not to, and you can find success not by not doing that, right? And so,
And I feel like this is a similar situation that happened to 6ix9ine, because his music career kind of was rooted from that kind of gang lifestyle in Brooklyn. And then now he's made all this money. Now he's popping, he's making the billboards and stuff. but he's kind of living in constant fear of, there's people who want this guy dead, and there's so many like people who like some artists that are in this kind of hip hop industry. There's a lot of people that are secretly kind of like, there's people that want him dead. There's so much like pressure like that's coming with this kind of gang affiliated lifestyle. So I think it's such a big risk kind of like career kind of almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like 6ix9ine is like, the thing is with him, it's like not many people understand that like all of the artists, like it's all like for sure, right? What do we really know? It's all publicity, right? Somebody made a joke, it's like oh yo, 6ix9ine, yo, he snitched, right? Like yada yada, right? And it was on interviews like, well, a couple of dudes from Brooklyn trying to catch 6ix9ine. Okay, cool. You think Atlanta rappers, you think Chicago rappers, you think even though he is pushing it with Chicago rappers right now, but it's like you're like, I need to get 6ix9ine. My mission is to get 6ix9ine. Once they get caught up in a conspiracy of their own, once they get locked up, then they have to deal with maybe needing to snitch or maybe not, or maybe they don't want no trouble. They don't want no trouble at all. So if it looks like they could press 6ix9ine on the social, if they look like they could pull up on him on an event but not do anything, they'll do it because it makes them look good. But you think any rapper who's really making money off of their industry, like they're feeding families, they're feeding their team, they're everybody, so much of making, they're gonna be like, oh yo, 6ix9ine went to jail for something that I wasn't involved in, and he snitched on some people I don't know, but he snitched, so I'm gonna go kill him. Yeah. I'm gonna get locked up and make sure people go starving. Atlanta rappers, you think LA rappers, you think they really care? No. Because he died over 6ix9ine. You may get like clout chasing fans who are like, oh, I was the guy that got Snitch 9. But you weren't, like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah. It's all about like internet fame, internet clout, and I think a lot of people have lost themselves, with that. I think 6ix9ine is a big example of that. He just lost himself into the internet. The internet's cool and everything, but to a certain point, you have to be like, okay, chill. Like, I gotta make my music, feed my homies. That's what it really is about. And I think good examples, like people like 21 Savage, Dr. Dre, like they live those lives, but you don't see them like on the internet, doing stupid shit. Like they know that, like they're businessmen. They know they have to keep their image clean. They did what they had to do, but at the end of the day, like there's some people who are gonna get caught up with that internet stuff, and other people are gonna make their money, live their happy lives. So,
But I think part of the reason for that is because being involved in like the whole internet clout thing, there's so much money. There's so much money opportunities involved because, for example, like 6ix9ine got in beef with Meek Mill pretty recently, and then that's making news headlines. And then they get.
I don't know if that was a real beef though. Like I swear, Meek just showed up like at one of the events. I don't know. I just saw like a video of Meek like just like what's happening. Yeah. I don't think Meek is really about that stuff either. Like he's a bit smarter.
But 6ix9ine, he wants to get all the beef because that's what makes him money. That's what gets him attention in the media headlines, which means more eyes.
I don't think it gets him money though. Like I think it's more about fame, and psychologically, like people like 6ix9ine, they need that constant validation of people. Some people just need attention. Like they're just like that. Doesn't matter. Like you don't know. Like we don't know how much money 6ix9ine is getting. He fakes his views probably. With his new song he came out, I don't know how many views he had, like 100 million in like less than 24 hours. Like those aren't real, right?
They're not real?
I don't think that. I'm pretty sure they're not real. If Drake dropped his music video, What's Next, didn't get the same number of views as 6ix9ine. Like I'm saying, like Drake is much bigger, like much more talented, bigger than 6ix9ine. And how is he not pulling like close to the number that 6ix9ine was?
Bro, but like that's clout culture, right? It's like, yo, you're definitely gonna have kids who are glued to like I'm telling you, there are 8-year-olds listening to 6ix9ine. And so it's like they have the YouTube show, the kids in Toronto, like kids in Canada, kids in America, kids in Mexico, kids in China, kids in Europe, Russia, all over. They love 6ix9ine. They love the social media aspect. They're not even thinking like, oh, your real music, right? I'm a Drake fan. I listened to that What's Next music video once. I watched that video on YouTube once, right? Where some kid listened to 6ix9ine, just the iPad repeat. repeat. Remember the lyrics saying N-word this, N-word, N-word that. And it's like, yo, it's like, come on, chill, right? And so I think, the publicity does help his views and everything. His music is trash. Like, I don't know if he'll get to like the Billboard like 100, because I don't know how well he's doing like streaming wise. But I know like it's like NBA YoungBoy, right? It's like the same people that like stream music through YouTube.
Yeah, and like just from your perspective, how do you think someone like 6ix9ine, just like in terms of when you look at artists, right? You kind of think about their talent, their taste, what they do with their music, and I think another aspect of is how long they can last as an artist as well, and what they do and how they go about living their lives. And from your perspective, how long do you think this kind of, I don't want to call it a fad or a trend. How long do you think 6ix9ine as an artist would kind of last in this path that he's taking?
Yeah, honestly, talk about like longevity of an artist. That's like a big thing as well.
I think as an artist, like a musician, 6ix9ine is done. I think as an influencer, he's here for a long time. And it's so he's dominated that social media space. Like I said, the fact that he has 8-year-olds, imagine when you're the first time you're the fan of a big artist you are now, right? So it's like, I remember I was a big fan of Kanye when I was like in like 4th, 5th grade. And like, I'm still even a bigger fan of him now, right? So it's like those 8-year-olds who only know 6ix9ine or like who vibe with 6ix9ine, he's an influencer. He's influencing them. I hope they, get introduced to music that is actually of quality in life, but they may still be tapped to 6ix9ine as a brand, right? And I don't think 6ix9ine cares about, the music. He's a brand. Like he's like, I speak for like the degenerates. I speak for the youth that don't really care about certain shit, the clout, sneakers, chains, diamonds, this and that, right? So I think he's there for some time, but like an artist, like done.
Done. Yeah, it's like Lil Pump, like. But
I haven't heard anything from Lil Pump in a while.
That guy's irrelevant. Like I haven't even heard that guy in like years.
I mean, J. Cole called him out on it, like you're about to be done, and like I just brought him up right now just because we were talking about longevity. But I think Lil Pump, even as a brand, he's done. Like he left as quick as he came in. So
yeah, I remember I went to a Lil Pump concert. I didn't go to the concert. I was doing some interviews. Me and my friend were doing like interviews outside of it for our podcast. Like we said, like we wanted to interview Lil Pump fans, and like we're interviewing people, saying, "Oh, like and across the street, it was some girl on like the curb side, like tipping off like this. And then the paramedics came because they're like, yo, who is this child on the corner of the street, like really tipping off? She was on Xanax. You're on Xanax at a Lil Pump concert. It's like, okay, yo, if you like to drink, if you like to smoke weed, cool, right? Because you're like, yo, we're about to go to a party. Let's turn up, right? But if you're like, I'm a fan of Lil Pump, so I have to show up to his show on Xanax, and then you damn near overdose, get Lil Pump out of here. Like,
that's a thing. Like artists, whatever energy they put out, that's sort of like what happens in that space of that arena, I've only been to one concert, Logic's, and like Logic is a big person of like, treating everyone with respect and everything. And like he's talked about it in his interviews too, like you go to a Logic concert, you're not gonna, get in some sort of like trouble. If there is someone causing trouble, he's gonna call that person out and get them out of there.
Yeah.
And if you've seen some videos, like he plays video games at his concerts. So I think it entirely depends on the artist brand, what they bring. Like that's the energy that's going to be depicted onto their audience and stuff like that.
Yeah. I thought we're just going to move on to the next segment that I got cooked up. I think this is actually a new segment that I'm introducing now for everyone else. It's called Pull Up, where we pull up different things from your Instagram that need a little bit of explanation and, a little bit of backstory.
Yeah. I don't even post the shit. Let me see.
I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna get going. Let's see this. All right. So we got
Uh,
the picture of
Peace.
Kwaku and Charlemagne the God. So like,
yeah.
tell us a little bit about this photo here and what how this came about.
1 second.
Oh,
Charlemagne the God
Ooh.
is the person I look up to the most in the media space, just
Mhm.
off of like listening to his like podcast on the Breakfast Club. Like a lot of his like ideologies and principles I like mess with heavy, like, you know, like the be yourself personality, and like really like in the hip hop and like his story, his come up and everything. Like I wanted to get into radio. That's why I went to RTA. I wanted to like do the podcasting stuff, right? Until like, you know, of course, like a different journey came, which is okay, you know? And so, but I still listened to his podcast and everything. I read both of his books. And so this, I was so excited when I heard he was doing his book tour of Black Privilege in the city, and he was, you know, speaking at George Brown. And then I just had to like be my friend, like crashed it. Like we just went, like we didn't, they were like, oh, student cards just sort of went around the corner, like in the cafeteria and just sat down, this and that. And then there was a book signing opportunity. So I actually brought my book, and then I was able to get it like signed by him.
Hey.
And so, yeah, Charlemagne is definitely the GOAT.
Yeah. And like, how has his like kind of, I guess journey, has his journey to where he is now inspired you to continue your own career and path?
Yeah, like 1 second. Yeah, like his, like, you know, it's easy to have imposter syndrome, right? It's like for me, I have like a unique personality that like I know how to, you know, lead, I know how to work, I know how to like, you know, discuss. If I have my own personality where I care all, like I'm just gonna speak in my own tone, you know, share my own thoughts on different things. And that like same ways, it's like I don't really, and he like inspires me on that lens, right? And so I carry that like mentality throughout, and having confidence in yourself, you know, speaking truth to power and having your integrity aligned with your principles.
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's dope. We have one more photo from your Instagram. I'm gonna pull up this one. The shot of you and Diddy's son. If I King Comb, right?
Poems, yeah.
Yeah. How did this photo come about?
There was like there was shout out Cheto. So there was this like podcast called The Come Up Show. And they actually record out of the slate. And one of my friends, I was just walking. One of my friends like had told me, oh, like Cheto might be interviewing King Combs, like he's doing a show in the city or something, right? What the day was May 9th. I think it was here for like Canadian Music Week or something, right? And so I was like, oh shit, that's dope. But then I was walking on campus. I forgot for what reason. I saw him hanging out, and I like hailed him up. I was like, oh shit, let's take a pic. And he was down. And so, to be honest, King Combs, I don't really like. I'm not really like, yo, King Combs, like God, this and that, right? I'm like, yo, that's Diddy's son. That's Diddy's son. What's going on? I think he's older than me. I don't know. I'm saying kid, but Diddy's son.
That's dope though. Like, I think it's really interesting when artists from out the country come to visit Toronto, because not only do they bring a different kind of vibe, but you also get to see, kind of get to understand their perspective coming into our own space, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you get to see them like really, like, I don't know. It's just weird because you just see them on social media and YouTube. And so you're just like, oh, snap. It's real life. And like, Diddy's son. I didn't call him Diddy's son. I was like, yo. I don't know if I call him King Combs or say I'm like, yo, how's it going? Yo, what's up? I was nervous, but like it was chill.
Cool. I think we have officially come to the end of the podcast. You know, we definitely we definitely could have talked about a lot more, but we'll definitely have you on for way more episodes down the road, man.
Yeah.
You're a great guest to have on. Very insightful on all the things that we need to talk about. But we thank you for coming on.
Thank you. It was fun.
Definitely my favorite. Definitely my favorite. Yeah, it's always a fun talk.
Every time we have Kwaku on, it's a good episode, man.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe. Yo. Thank you, fellas. Yo, like I said, I want to see more episodes. I'm glad you guys are recording again. And once this is up, you can edit this out. I don't care. I love Spirit Live. Once it's out, you can get EDC access. Let me know. I'll hook you guys up with a studio.
Yeah, please, dope.
Yeah. And hopefully when we do have another episode with you, that we do have it in the studio and stuff, In
person, we need that energy, bro.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
And I want to thank the audience for listening to another episode of the podcast, and we'll make sure you check us out on Cypher Pod on Instagram, and check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, where you can get the full video past the 30-minute mark. Yeah. And Kwaku, you want to spell out your Instagram handle?
Yes, at Kwaku on air. So KWAKU on air. I'm also running a business that helps artists, think, exhibit, and curate their, work, creative media projects, as well as, get into some researching your fan base to better, inform your brand strategy and stuff. That is through Time. So it's fun. It's like Time, but it's like acronym for Toronto Institute for Media Engagement. So follow time.canada on Instagram. And so get involved, yo. Let's work. Let's build, because all we have is us, and we're all media professionals, and let's get you to where you need to get. And so stay in touch.
I think that's a good way to start the year. Even though it's March already, I think that's a good thing to keep in mind going throughout the year, Yeah. I want to thank you all again, and we'll catch you on in the next episode of The Cypher. Peace.
Peace out.